Hello and welcome to another edition of Good Morning Pattaya, Pattaya Channel's very own breakfast show. I'm your host, Nick Pendrell, and joining me back in the studio is my lovely and glamorous co-host, Carolyn.
Oh, good morning, Nick. Are you well?
Nice to see you back again. I'm well and fit and healthy and looking forward to interviewing our guest today, who's Berne from ASAP Marine. Welcome to the show.
Well, thank you very much for having me here. It's always a pleasure.
You. So, tell us a little bit about ASAP Marine.
Well, my business started in 2006, and we are basically focused on importing and distributing all kinds of boat equipment.
Right.
Oh.
So anything you need on your boat, from pumps right through to electronics and electrical systems, we import, distribute, and support it in Thailand.
Right. I know there's an awful lot of different boats out there. How many do you supply?
Well, Pattaya is relatively a small market, but Ocean Marina is the main center for boating around this area.
Yeah.
And we supply most of the boats over there for spare parts and servicing and helping the people out on their boats as well. Yeah. So that's our target market. But we are also expanding a lot into the Thai national market as well, especially into the Thais themselves. It's becoming much more involved in boating now.
Right, yeah. We had another guest on from Ocean Marina recently, and they were saying the same thing about the Thais. There's more of a middle class, upper middle class emerging, and they're getting more and more into boating these days.
Oh, for sure. Still very much in its infancy if you compare it to developed markets like Australia or the UK or the USA.
Yeah.
But a lot of them are now getting to the second boats, which they also become more conscious about having quality products that work and last longer than the cheaper stuff that they used to have before.
Right.
And it's very positive growth that we're seeing there.
Yeah. How long does a boat last for then?
Well, it's all about maintenance. If you take care of it, it can last you generations.
Right.
Yeah.
If you leave it and don't use it, it will fade away quite quickly. I think the biggest issue we see in boats in the Ocean Marina, for instance, is people who use the boat once a year or twice a year. And that's actually bad for the boat. A boat needs to be used often.
Yeah. And for those people who have a boat that they really can only use once a year, because rich people who can afford boats tend to be busy people, so I guess they can't do it. What can they do to keep it running at maximum effectiveness?
Well, the best for them is actually to arrange for chartering the boats out.
Right.
That way they've got some companies that can help them to keep the boat running, inform them if something starts to become problemsome, to fix it, and always keep the boat just in movement. That's the most important.
Yeah.
So for any boat, for that matter, if it's in the water especially, you have to keep it running often.
Right.
Once a week, once a month at least, that will be good.
Well, that is quite often for these people who can only use their boats from time to time.
Yeah.
So what about, how do you, obviously there's a lot of parts on a boat and a lot of different types of boats. How can you keep everything in stock? Do you have to something?
The big advantage that we have of ASAP Marine, and that's basically how I started my business, and hence where ASAP came from, is I became well known for finding products for customers quickly. There is hundreds of thousands of different products. We've got catalogs that are this thick, and there is 18,000 products in it.
Right.
But we've been able to build up very good networking with our suppliers, stockists. So we will either find it from supplier A or B or C, whoever can get it in a good time for the customer.
Right.
That's the main thing that we do. So we do stock a big amount here. We've become much more into distribution as well. But at the end of the day, we still find what people need when they need it.
What's the most bizarre request you've ever had for a piece of a boat?
I was wondering if you could ask that question. Geez, where do I start? It's not so much about bizarre requests, because most of the things in boating we can find and we've got connections.
Fairly standard.
It's more about the time frame that we have.
Okay.
Because I've had visiting boats coming just to visit and stop over at Ocean Marina for a few days. And then we have to find the product, get it over to Thailand, import it, and get it onto the customer's boat, and we did it in 3 days.
Wow. That's quite impressive.
And that takes a lot of work to networking, and that's what we've been able to establish ourselves with.
Do you have problems with customs bringing in parts, or is it quite smooth?
There's a big grey market area in Thailand, and I think the biggest issue is online. People can go and search online and they can find anything anywhere. And often it looks cheaper, like in the USA.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, when it comes here, it might be the wrong product, the wrong voltage.
Yeah.
Also, then afterwards, if they have problems with it, they have to send it back to the USA for support.
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we've had a number of customers who went that way in the beginning, but afterwards they can tend to come back to us when they see the after-sales market as well.
Yeah.
Right. All right.
Are many of the parts manufactured in Thailand, or is that still in its infancy?
More and more are starting to become made in Thailand, but not a big range, I would say.
Okay, so most of it is imported from
Most is imported.
overseas.
I think in today's world, almost everything is made in China.
Yeah.
So a lot of the big name brands, quality products is still made in China, or we also import a lot from the US, from the UK.
Right.
One of our biggest suppliers is from New Zealand, actually, where we supply from as well.
Big boating industry there.
Oh, it's a very big industry and very well supported.
Yeah.
And the technology and the skill sets there supports the marine industry very well.
Yes. Yeah.
I would imagine the biggest part is engine parts, because there's obviously an awful lot of different parts that go into an engine. There's obviously a lot of different types of boats, but are the sort of engines quite standardized?
No, you do get different brands, and usually engine manufacturers like to keep their own components on their own type of production.
Yeah, unique.
Because they want to get that aftermarket spare parts industry for themselves.
Yeah.
There is some similarities, and there's a lot of OEM products, especially for pumps and so on in engines, which don't necessarily need to come from the original manufacturer.
Right.
But generally speaking, it's quite a tricky situation to be in when a customer comes with a unique engine.
Right.
And we do get cases like that. We have to get spare parts from Canada, for instance, because nobody else has it.
You're saying that with the OEM business, I would imagine somebody like yourself, it must be hard. Is it hard to say, oh, really, you're better off going with a manufacturer, or this OEM product will work, but don't touch that cheap stuff because it will just break?
I think at the end of the day, you will get what you pay for. Original manufactured products, we usually recommend that for engines that's still fairly new or under warranty. OEM parts, it's a tricky situation. We are quite limited to what we supply or what we offer to customers. And usually it is products that we have actually had experience with or had feedback with from customers as well. Small components like consumable parts, that we do with some OEM manufacturers.
Okay.
But once again, we've had it for years on the market and we know it's working.
Right.
But of course, at the end of the day, it also depends on the customer. Some customers want to save a penny here. So if we can, we will try to help.
Okay.
But as far as my business is concerned, I prefer to stay away from the cheapest stuff.
Yes, because it obviously reflects badly on you if it's
I like
no
to see
fault.
I like to see a product go out of the shop. I don't want to see it come back with problems.
With so many parts to a boat, I can imagine your technical knowledge must be enormous. How long have you been in this business?
Well, I started in 2006.
Oh, okay.
Strange enough, I grew up far away from the sea in South Africa.
Right.
So I only got really into boating and into the sea in 2006.
Right.
So what I know is a lot of reading, researching. A lot of cases where a customer comes with a problem and I say, okay, look, I don't know about it, but give me a day or two and I will try to find out. So reading and trying to understand and try to troubleshoot myself.
Did you have a technical background before that?
Mostly computers, yes.
Oh, okay.
But I enjoy it. It's a hobby.
Right.
And I think if you enjoy something, you will find it easy to learn and easy to adapt to it.
Absolutely.
Definitely. So what's the most expensive item you've ever sold?
Well, I have sold a generator or two, big generators like 20 kVA. So that's been the most expensive single component, if I can say. But generally it comes down to specific projects.
Right.
And that can range from a few 100,000 to millions of baht. But it depends on the size of the boat, it depends on the customer.
Yeah. And sort of how big is the biggest boat that you've ever supplied things for?
So far, the biggest one was for a 65-foot power cat, built here in Pattaya as well.
Oh, okay.
So by a company called Bakrekona. And it was a very interesting project that we were involved with because it had a lot of new concepts in it.
Right.
From renewable energy, solar panels on the boat, to big batteries. They like to call it the first solar-assisted luxury yacht.
Okay.
So we were the key supplier for that project.
Oh, right.
And of course, there's a few new projects coming up that we're excited for as well in Thailand.
So the whole boat building side is also growing very, very fast here?
Definitely. Pattaya especially has had a few boat builders that's been here for more than 20 years already.
Right.
But I have to say, from when I started and the level of expertise and efficiency that I've seen of shipyards, it's actually improved a lot with the tire manufacturers here as well.
Yeah.
And I think it's also because they've become more exposed to international boats, requirements and demands from customers. And that's definitely up. So there's a few new boat builders opening up every year. A few closing down. It's not an easy business to be in.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But usually if they've been around for 3-4 years, they tend to actually stay longer than.
Right. It's well, I've heard that a lot of businesses sort of close after 18 months, but once you get past that, then it
I think it's when you over it start catching up. That's when the break point comes, and usually in boats we've seen it about 3 years or so.
Right. And how long does it take to build a boat?
Well, that's in Thailand. It really depends on the scale of the boat.
Yes.
One of the unique things we've seen in Thailand is the ability to build one-offs.
Right.
So a unique boat specifically to a specific customer's requirements. That's a strong point in Thailand.
Right.
So a boat like that can take from 1 year to 3 years. It depends on the scale and the size and how much customizability they want. Smaller boats can take a few months.
Right.
Are there big sort of boating shows in Thailand? Like a lot of countries have sort of big international shows that they show off the boats and the parts and that.
Yes, most definitely.
Here?
There's one in Phuket, which is called PMX.
Right.
And now we are started the one in Ocean Marina as well, which is the Pattaya Ocean Marina, the Ocean Marina Pattaya Boat Show.
Right.
And it will be actually in November this year, the third show.
Coming up quite soon. Then.
Yeah.
And we started small, of course, the first year with a lot of boat builders and people in the community. Second year, it's become a bit bigger, and we're quite excited for this year's show. And actually, this year there's a few international visitors very keen to come visit as well.
Right. And from which countries? Who are the most sort of popular, apart from Thais?
Well, there's a very wide range coming, but a lot from Europe and also down from Australia and generally from Asia as well. We've seen a lot of visitors. We've seen visitors from like the USA even coming as well. And that, in a sense, has also helped to uplift and make the Thai people more aware of the boating market as well. Because it's a luxury lifestyle. It's a prestigious lifestyle to be in. And a lot of them are actually becoming aware that they can be involved in this.
So where is your premises actually located? Are you actually on Ocean Marina?
I've got my main shop in Ocean Marina itself, yes. And we also have a branch outside of Ocean Marina, just on Sukhumvit.
Oh, okay.
So now we've got our 2 branches, and hopefully to expand in the future.
Right. And so how many staff do you have in total?
At the moment, 11.
Oh, that's quite a few then, I guess. And they specialise in different areas, I can imagine.
Not as much as I would like to, but they are getting there. One thing we've noticed, I mean, if you go to developed markets, people generally in the industry knows about the industry from before.
Right.
Whether they've been doing boating as a hobby and so forth, or whether they do it as a profession.
Yes.
Here we have to train people and teach people who comes from industry or market that's not related at all to boating.
Yeah.
So that's been a difficult part, but it's getting there. It's becoming more and more easier. But not easy yet.
No, not yet.
Are there any Thai universities or colleges that offer sort of marine type courses?
There is commercial marine. A few universities to do commercial marine, but that is quite a bit different to leisure marine, which we are in. The concepts, the equipment you use is quite a different level. So we are trying to get some of them, but there's such a big demand for commercial marine stuff. It's not easy to get them, yes.
So where can we find out more about ASAP Marine? Are you online?
Yes, we've got a website, www.asap-marine.com. And you can call us, you can drop by at the shop at Ocean Marina.
Right.
And like our website is also a full online shop. So you can place orders and we ship all over the world.
Wow, that is very handy. So people can find out all their needs from that one. Well, Berne, thank you very much for coming and seeing us. Best of luck with ASAP Marine.
Well, thank you very much for having me here.
And for our viewers, stay tuned because we're going to be back with Best of the Web very soon. See you then.